Hey yo, what's good everyone? Welcome to my channel. This is Mauro and today we're gonna react to the AFL 2021 stadiums. Since we arrived at the end of this season, wow, that was unbelievable. I just discovered this game like a couple of months ago with my first reactions. And then I started to follow it a little bit. You know, we did a live stream of the semi-finals. I did a reaction to the actual final game. The grand final was so beautiful. And the stadiums, they're all amazing. Wow. That is everything new to me. Starting from the field to the stadium. Wow, that's so beautiful. So I just want to check them out, you know, since we're still gonna have a lot of time. I think in March 2022 will begin the new season, so we still got plenty of time. So we're still gonna do more reactions so I can learn more about this beautiful game with you guys. But yeah, in the meantime, also keep on recommending me about other sports that are played in Australia. We're gonna react to some cricket. Some of you already recommended me to check out BBL, if I'm not confused, right? So if you have any good videos for me to check out about that as well, please let me know down in the comments, or any other sports in Australia, and I'm gonna do a reaction to it. But yeah, let's check out this video right now.
If you're unfamiliar with Australian rules football, well, it was invented in Melbourne in about 1858, not long after Melbourne itself had been established. It's kind of a combination of multiple sports. It's not too dissimilar to Gaelic football. It involves a lot of running, kicking, catching, tackling, and the occasional squirrel grip, which, if you're not aware, is just an unconventional
God, we gotta make a reaction to it. I didn't know that.
Way of tackling your opponent. With that being said, here are the 2021 AFL stadiums.
Oh, all of them.
The AFL is a little unusual in that 9 clubs, half the league, play out of just 2 stadiums. I understand why they do it, money, but I much prefer the idea of each club having their own stadium like they did in the old days. Anyway.
I thought every club had their own stadium.
Anyway, let's get into it. Optus Stadium.
Oh, wow.
Well,
this one was the one that made the final. Wow, look at that. That's crazy. I love the combination of colors.
Somebody said the West is the best. That is debatable, but what isn't debatable is that this stadium is spectacular.
Yeah, it is.
Because it just is. It's Australia's most expensive stadium ever.
Wow.
This venue replaced the very tired-looking Subiaco Oval in 2018 and has attracted huge crowds ever since. Although there was a huge drop-off last year, not sure why, hopefully that's short-lived. GMHBABCDEFG Stadium, or Cardinia Park as it's also known.
Got me scared. What the hell was that? Oh my god. You could have at least announced it. Oh my god. My heart was jumping.
I'm glad they didn't have to change their song to include the sponsor's name. Cardinia Park is the largest capacity stadium outside of Australia's state capitals. And that capacity doesn't go to waste. Geelong had an average attendance of 33,405 in 2019, which is the closest to capacity in the AFL. It's also the narrowest stadium in the league. Not particularly important, but just a bit of a fun fact.
Wow.
Metricon Stadium was fully redeveloped before the introduction of the brand new expansion team, the Gold Coast Suns. It looks great, to be honest, but they probably didn't need to upgrade the capacity. The Gold Coast Suns attract the lowest average attendance at a little over 11,000. The stadium's best moment was probably hosting the 2018 Commonwealth Games. It had to be remodeled specifically for the games. Adelaide Oval was once considered by many as the most picturesque cricket stadium in Australia.
Oh,
Back
So all the AFL stadiums, they are used in cricket as well. I mean, that would make sense, if the AFL ends the season and then it will begin the one of cricket. So they will use the same stadiums, I guess.
Then, the capacity was a lot smaller, and the AFL clubs were playing in the now demolished Amy Stadium. Then the AFL moved in,
Wow, that's quite an upgrade.
and the stadium was redeveloped. It was no longer the quaint little cricket stadium with a backdrop of St.
That is so cool with the two churches behind.
Peter's Cathedral on one side and the city centre on the other side. But the redevelopment has been highly praised. It still has a classic look, partially due to the extensive use of bricks. They kept the old school scoreboard, they kept the Moreton Bay fig trees, and you can still catch a glimpse of the cathedral. So well done. The Gabba. It's got nothing to do with Yo Gabba Gabba, by the way. It gained that nickname due to the suburb of Brisbane in which it's located, Wollongabba. It made history in 2020 when it hosted the grand final, the first time it was ever held outside of Melbourne. Personally, I'd like to see other cities host the grand final, even though the MCG is my local stadium. Maybe let the team that finishes the highest up the ladder host the final. The downside would obviously be a potential situation where Metricon Stadium hosts. Wait, what the hell am I talking about? That would mean the Suns would actually have to make the finals, let alone finish first. Let me know what you think in the comments. Should the grand final always be at the G? Speaking of the G,
Well, this year was in Perth because of coronavirus, so it wasn't actually.
Melbourne Cricket Ground.
Yeah, this one is the one where they always host the Ferno, right? 100,000 people. Wow.
Not many stadiums around the world have more on their CV than the MCG. It hosted the first ever Test cricket match, the Olympics in 1956, the Commonwealth Games in 2006, two Cricket World Cup finals. It has one of the highest aggregate yearly attendances in the world. It's considered the home of the AFL. It's the biggest stadium in the Southern Hemisphere, and up until recently was the biggest cricket stadium in the world. Phew, that was a lot. The atmosphere here, even when there are 30,000 empty seats, is electric. Obviously, one downside is that it often looks empty even when there is a decent crowd in. And now on to the less accomplished but still impressive Sydney Cricket Ground. I love how the SCG has completely evolved over the years, but the ladies and members pavilion have stayed the same. The mix of old and new gives it a unique look. The SCG used to have the shortest field in the AFL, and the 50-metre arc used to overlap the centre square, which was a bit odd. That situation has since been sorted though. Marvel Stadium. Now, I'm not really into Marvel. For me, Captain Underpants will always be the greatest superhero, which, if I'm not mistaken, is part of the Justice League.
Wow, but that's pretty cool. It's all covered, so if it's gonna rain, you're not even gonna get wet, right? I mean, I don't know how it works for the other stadiums, but at least this one looks that way.
League. So that's DC, isn't it? Anyway, that's neither here nor there. This venue is one of the most multi-purpose in Australia. The ground level seat.
Oh my god, that is so cool! It gets covered! Wow! That must be amazing. That must be amazing. Especially if it's raining or snowing. I mean, I don't know. Does it snow in Australia? I mean, I'm so stupid, I don't know.
Seating can be converted from an oval into a rectangular configuration.
Wow!
It's the only stadium that permanently hosts AFL, A-League and BBL teams. The stadium is owned by the AFL and will shortly undergo a refurbishment.
Wow, 4 teams plays there. That's crazy.
Giants Stadium.
Well, not really giant.
This boutique stadium was originally built to replace Sydney's old showground and to be the main baseball venue at the 2000 Olympics. It's currently the only stadium in the AFL that is named after the team that plays there. Giants Stadium could potentially be expanded to a capacity of 35,000 over the coming years. There's no rush though, because the Giants currently average around 12,000 per home game. And now the secondary stadiums. The grounds that the club might only play a handful of games at. I'll only give a brief rundown of each. University of Tasmania Stadium is a nice little stadium in Launceston. It's the only one of these secondary grounds that I've been to. Mars Stadium, interestingly, is sponsored by the Mars Tourism Board.
Wait, but Western Bulldogs didn't already had another stadium before?
Before the ground was redeveloped a few years ago, it basically just looked like a typical suburban ground, with one stand. TIO Stadium is the biggest stadium in the Northern Territory. That's not really a brag, but it's a decent ground. I like how one side has a grandstand and the other side is just trees. Blundstone Arena is probably the best secondary ground. It's more well known for being a cricket ground, having hosted numerable international matches. It's in an incredible location, right next to the sea.
Yeah,
Cazalis Stadium is located in what is Australia's tropicalist city. That's a word, right? It must be a bit of a shock for a Melbourne team to go from winter to a tropical dry season.
What is that?
TIO Traeger Park
Is that a stadium?
is located right in the heart of Australia. The stadium is nothing special, but it is certainly a unique setting.
Well, how can that be a stadium? There are not even seatings. How does it say that there are 7,000 seatings? Oh my god, are you kidding me? These two are 7,000 people can host. That's crazy. This looks like just a field to play for fun. I mean, where are the goals even?
Traeger Park is located right in the heart of Australia. The stadium is nothing special, but it is certainly a unique setting. The University of New South Wales Canberra Oval. That's a mouthful. Located in Australia's bush capital, it has the unusual distinction of having hosted the only AFL game where it snowed during the match. That was in 2019.
Wow, this was really interesting, but I have so many questions about some of the stadiums. So please, I beg you, comment down below and give me more insights about these stadiums. I want to also know more about where they will play these cricket games. You know, I think they will play them in the AFL stadiums, right? I mean, it would make sense because the cricket season is starting now, right after the AFL season ended. So yeah, if you have any more videos that you want me to check out about AFL or cricket, please type it down in the comments and I'm gonna try to do them as soon as I can. But yeah, this is it for today. Hope you enjoyed my reaction. If you want to support the channel, you can check out my Patreon page, patreon.com/MauroReactions. Leave a like in the video if you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.